Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Danny's Green Surface Cleaning, and boy do I have a project for you today. Let's go take a look. Obviously we've got some heavy moss up in the entryway there. We get all that cleaned up. A lot of heavy tree debris from those guys up there. Definitely some unevenness on this concrete due to the roots and everything. From what it looks like, the concrete stops here and then turns into gravel. I'm going to try raking that up as much as I can. Just get this looking a little bit better. So the story with this project is, I've known this lady for a few years. I deliver them a Christmas tree, and the last time I delivered and set up her tree, I noticed that the driveway still hadn't been done, and so I asked if she wouldn't mind me coming back in the spring and get this all cleaned up, and she happily accepted that. So that's what I'm going to do today. Get this, got quite a bit of work here, but if I can make this look a little bit better, nicer for her, should make a good transformation video. That's what I'm going to do. So hopefully you enjoy this. Check it out. This should be a good one. She has a yard debris bin. I'll just fill that one up first. But obviously going to be a lot more here than what's gonna fit in there. So glad I brought the trailer. All right, well, I was kind of hoping that my 3 bins would be enough to haul this away with, but my bins are already full and I still have quite a bit there, some over there. And obviously there's gonna be a lot more debris once I get around to blowing this down. And her bin is pretty full already. So yeah, that one's almost full. So I'm just gonna start dumping these in the trailer. Just makes a little bit more work for unloading it. I don't have a dump trailer. That's okay. Whatever it takes to get this done. Okay, so I don't know how far the concrete goes, like where the concrete stops and where the gravel begins. It's pretty deep though. I want it to be able to drain. Sorry, I want it to be able to drain, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. I certainly can't shovel all this gravel all the way to the street. I know it stops at some point. So there lies the question, how far do I go? I brought minimal tools for this job, thinking that the gravel started there and then it was concrete, but it's definitely going farther. And the way that this concrete is slanting here, it just goes all the way down into this area. So there'll be a big puddle here. And It needs to drain that way. So that's what I'm working on. Before I even open the machine or crank up the machine, I got to get this kind of figured out first. Well, I found the end of the driveway. It's right there, but as you can see, it goes, it's probably about right here. It's a lot of very hard, compact gravel to try to make this a line, and then it's going to be a good foot drop. So my guess is they purposely spread that gravel so it was nice, smooth transition in. So this doesn't seem like the low point. Definitely seems like a high point here because of the roots. There's unfortunately no way for me to do this so it drains out that direction. It just all flows from that corner down to here. So I'm going to smooth this out, make it look a little bit better. Unfortunately, my prediction is there'll be a puddle there. those of you who are curious about how much I've removed debris I've removed so far, check this out. And I haven't even begun power washing yet, but I think I made so far a vast improvement. But my work is not done yet. Now it's time to do the real work. I believe it. I haven't even started the real work yet, but it's now time to roll out the hoses and really try to make this look as clean as possible. Alright, so I do have a surface scrubber in back for those of you that are wondering why I'm not going with that. Moss is pretty thick. It's about that thick in a lot of areas, and the surface scrubber is just not going to get cut through that. It does really well on very flat surfaces that have a decent amount of moss on it, but when it's thick like this, I'm going to go over it, use a lot more water, it's going to flood up a lot more, and I'm going to have less control over where that debris and everything is going. So, going with the old turbo nozzle takes a little bit longer, but I can do a lot more detail and a lot better job cleaning than with the surface scrubber. The other question you might have is, why don't I put down a post or a pre-treatment on this? For one, there's a lot more dirt than there is moss, but also I'm going to put a post treatment on it, which is going to make a much bigger difference in regards to cleaning it, and it's going to kill off those remaining moss spores that I might not get. Anyway, hope that answers your questions. I'm going to get back at this. Sorry if you can barely see. I can barely see. All right, so drainage is going to be my nemesis on this. There's massive puddling there. There's really nowhere to push the water. So I'm just going to push it down to this corner and get all this done as best I can. And it's just going to have to slowly drain, because I'd rather have a puddle down there at the end versus a giant puddle right there. And my mission is to get it as clean as possible. So yep, sometimes you come across a little difficult challenge, but all you can do is the best you can. Man, it's a bright February day. Alright, so just as I feared or predicted, got a big old lake right here. That water is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So I might have to sweep some of this off in this corner here, maybe off the side. Nothing can be easy. That is a fact. Sorry about all the probably hard to see on camera what I'm doing because of all the shade and everything. Well, I did the best I could. Let's take a look, shall we? as I was talking about earlier, a little flooding there, puddle. Tried sweeping it out. Nothing really I can do. Sometimes you just have to do the best you can. Pretty sure this homeowner is going to be extremely happy with the results, seeing how they hadn't done it in a long time, and offered to do it to him at no charge. But I always try to do the best possible job, but with the puddling, the lack of drainage, really couldn't do a whole lot more, or I don't think I could do any better than this. Normally I would put a post treatment, let it sit, and then rinse it down, but since there is very little drainage here, I opted out of that. Don't think it's going to do a bit of good. Plus, trying to remove additional water when it took so long to remove as much as I did, and it's still puddling up there, and that's going to take probably several hours for it to drain. I didn't want to leave a bleachy smell, sudsy, driveway, and unfortunately I can't hang out for like 3 or 4 hours for that to drain out. So this is a done project. Now, real quick, if you're curious, you didn't see before, this is the debris. It's a good, say at least a yard, maybe a bit more of debris that I removed. That's a lot. So I'm tired. I'm gonna head out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help me do more projects like this for folks that need it. And we'll see you next time on Danny's Green Surface Cleaning. Take care.